Now, I'm continuing to say, don't panic. However, things are getting a little icy out there. Now, I was just in Colorado last week, and going through the airport and security was a little weird, just because people were wearing masks, and there was maybe I'm paranoid, but there's an air of weirdness going on, if you will. So last night, President Trump announced landmark restrictions to stop the spread of coronavirus. From what I understand, China's outbreak has somewhat slowed. Not all the way, but slowed. They are 50 days ahead of us in what the outbreak of the virus is. Now, we're barely just getting started here in the United States. First, when Trump, closed some of the border, did some border controls, they called him racist. And now they're saying he's not doing enough. He can't do anything right. But what he's doing so far, he's keeping one thing for sure, he's keeping calm. That's what we need. You don't need your leader freaking the F out about this. Now, we can go on and on what the lethality of this is. So apparently, most of the deaths, I think the average age of the deaths are like between 70 and 80 years old. And most of those people had pre-existing conditions, like I've said in the past videos. So there's that. Let's go and read the story real quick, and won't go too far into this because we already know what we already know. Trump, in an address to the nation Wednesday night, promised to deliver the most aggressive and comprehensive effort to combat the virus, meaning that he's suspending all air travel to or from Europe to the United States, except England, for 30 days, I want to say. Yeah, 30 days right here. To keep communication from in our shores, we'll be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. Made except in the UK. Now, reason he did is because Europe hasn't tightened their border controls. They're just allowing every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Mohammed and Rahid into the country. It could be anybody. It could be, Boris or, Natasha, whatever. The point is that they're not shutting down the borders. They're going, hey, come on in. Not good. This is probably the best way to do it. In his address, the president indicated that trade will also be subject to suspension. Ooh. These prohibitions will not only apply to the determined amount of trade and cargo, but various other things we get for approval. However, in his speech, he clarified by the tweet that it's very important for all countries and businesses to know that trade will in no way be affected by the 30-day restriction on travel from Europe. The restriction stops people, not goods. That's reassuring. But as you can see, stock markets are taking a big old hit, and they had to stop. One of the circuit breakers again popped up and suspended trading for 15 minutes and went back. Let's see. Mr. Trump accused the EU of not taking precautions the U.S. had taken to prevent the spread of coronavirus from China. Quoting from Mr. Trump, the European Union failed to take the same precautions and restrict travel from China and other hotspots, Mr. Trump said, as a result of a large number of new clusters in the United States were seeded by travel. He is correct. I don't know how you could say he's not. But he did not explain why he made an exception for the UK, which had 6 coronavirus deaths so far and has 373 cases diagnosed, among them the health minister. Because if you really want to get to the United States, you have to go through England. It makes sense. And then you can have like a gate. England's the gate. You go through England, and there's obviously somebody's going to be there to check temperatures and where you're from, blah, blah, blah. So this makes a lot of sense to hold England like the gatekeeper into the United States for the next 30 days, but expect... exactly. The Trump administration is also pushing for immediate payroll tax relief, which he said he hoped Congress would consider. I hope so. Beyond the measures, the announcement, Trump also urges Americans to take common sense precautions. Like I've been saying, like everyone else has been saying. For all Americans, it's essential that everyone take extra precautions and practice good hygiene, including washing your hands, regular showers, don't lick stripper poles or railings outside said strip clubs. Not a good thing at any time. He said, we're at a critical time. The fight against the virus, Mr. Trump said in an address that was meant to calm Americans.
Earlier Wednesday, he said in a tweet that was fully prepared to use the full power of the federal government to deal with the current challenge of the coronavirus. Yes. Again, I do like his tone. If I would feel the same way if Obama was in office right now and this was going on, if he was taking this sort of like action, you don't need the president. Or imagine, just like, I'll give you an example. In the military, if your boss, if there's some sort of, firefight or some sort of, other thing, normal day occurrence that happened, and your boss just freaks out, flips out, and just loses his mind and goes, I can't do this, I can't. You don't need that. You need what President Trump is doing is to keep calm. That's exactly what he's doing. You don't need him flipping out. That's what you don't want to do. Stocks have been plummeting over fears of the spread of the virus, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed with a loss of more than 1,400 points on Wednesday. Jeez. WHO also declared Wednesday that the outbreak spreading around the world can be characterized, here it is officially, as a pandemic. The Trump administration is trying to reassure Americans that the risk of the average American infection remains low, which is correct, as cities move to restrict large gatherings, such as San Diego. I think the whole of California is restricting for the next 30 days. I think gatherings more than 250 people. So that's may suspend opening day or longer for the opening of the baseball season. They've already suspended the NBA. I don't know about the NHL, but I think what they're going to do with the San Diego Padres game and the opening day, I think they're going to move it to another city or something like that. So there is that. However, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, told Congress in a hearing Wednesday morning that the U.S. can expect to see many more cases in the coming weeks, which he's correct. Quoting here from Mr. Fauci, I can say we see more cases and things will get worse than they are right now. Fauci also said the coronavirus is 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. There you go. There's there it is, boys and girls. He says it's 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. I've been hoping it wasn't. I think it's just more transmittable, than this flu. But here we are. So, in conclusion, personal hygiene is your friend here. If you're sick, stay home, I guess. And don't panic. I mean, when you panic, that's when things go wrong. Again, that's all I got to say about that. Stay safe, everyone.